Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Women in Computing Algeria Conference. I'm very happy to have every single one joining us today in this unique event. Like Yasmin have just mentioned earlier, this is the very first time edition for the conference here in Algeria, after organizing it 3 times based in Abu Dhabi with NYUAD, New York University, Abu Dhabi. And we couldn't be more proud about launching the Algerian chapter of Arab Women in Computing Algeria here. Thank you very much. I would like to take this opportunity and thank everyone who helped us to make this event happen, from the Arab Women in Computing family, who helped us and support us in our endeavor, to everyone who contributed with their generous time, financial support, and more importantly, those who believed in us, who believed in our ideas and making this event happening here today. So thank you very much for that, and once again, thank you for being here. Now on the core objective of this event, and that is creating a platform for collaboration, for conversation, for exchange of ideas and new opportunities, and support the involvement of women in computer science here in Algeria and worldwide. Although the challenges are many, that's true, especially here in Algeria, and I'm sure everyone in the world, however, believe me, the opportunities are way larger. And over the next few days, we will be hearing from specialists in the field of computer science, from women who are leaders in the field, and most importantly, women who took the initiative to change the landscape for women in computer science. Over the next 2 days, we will be hosting panels with our experts who flew from the globe, from all over the globe, to be with us today. In addition to these panels, we have organized mentorship sessions, where you will be having a chance to directly interact with our speakers, with our guests, as well as with one another, to exchange ideas and perhaps opportunities for future. So this is for sure, we all have networking. This is the main thing. And also we're gonna have activities that discuss the role for women in the field of engineering and computer science. We'll be also hosting a session this is especially for women in computing, Arab Women in Computing Algeria chapter, who is dedicated to building the newly created chapter here in Algeria, where we'll be directly interacting with you and hear your ideas, your suggestions, and your contributions towards becoming an active member in the organization and developing it. We are looking forward to everyone and single contribution to this event. On this note, I would like to once again thank you for joining us today. And we are looking forward to meeting and sharing a rich program over the next 2 days. We hope you will take this opportunity, we really hope so, to speak with us, share with us, with our guests, and take a chance in becoming a contributor to the development of women engagements in the field of computer science and engineering. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
So the ambassador couldn't join us today. All right, so we're gonna host Anna Escrogima. She's the Public Affairs Officer of the United States Embassy here in Algeria. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Good morning. Good morning. Hi everyone. I feel like I should have my iPhone. I should be keeping my remarks from my iPhone or something. So we prepared a bit of a PowerPoint PowerPoint presentation for you all. I'm just maybe waiting for it to come up on the screen. Great, okay. I've come to you from the U.S. Embassy in Algiers, and actually for the next couple of weeks I'm serving as Chargé d'Affaires at the embassy, where we really take seriously this idea of women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And I know you all do too, because you're here pretty early on a Saturday morning to begin this conversation. So it's really a pleasure to be here. You can go to the next slide. When Meriem gave her opening remarks, she talked about how these issues that we're going to talk about here, that you are going to talk about at this conference, are really global issues. And it's really true. This is something that encouraging the participation of girls, of young women, of adults, both from an academic perspective, from a social perspective, and from a professional perspective in the sciences is something that we think about a lot in the States, and this is just a quote from President Obama in 2013 that sort of talks about why it's important that half of the population be more engaged and more encouraged to participate in the science, technology, engineering, and math fields. So the question becomes then, how do you increase the engagement of girls as well as other underrepresented groups in the sciences? How do you sort of look at increasing the engagement of girls with STEM subjects, both in informal environments, at home, on the playground, on the internet, with toys, with games, etc., and also in formal environments, such as the classroom, such as internships, and in professional life. How do we work to acknowledge excellent STEM educators? How do we work with the private sector to ensure that once women are able to gain employment in the STEM field, that they have a career trajectory that is fulfilling, and that the jobs are present? So we could go to the next slide. The other piece that we sort of are engaged with at the White House, the National Council for Science and Technology is engaged with, is looking at the media and the role that the media plays in providing compelling STEM images, stories, and positive messages. The question is, why don't more girls? You all are in this room are obviously influencers and engagers in your particular fields, and I'm sure this is a question that you sort of wrestle with as well. Why don't more girls express interest in science and math? What are ways that we can engage positively with the media to put more positive and encouraging messages out there? So now that I put a bit into context, what are the different issues and questions that I think everyone in this room and folks around the world, and especially, I think people who are interested in looking at this phenomenon and how we can address it, I want to talk a little bit about, for example, in Algeria and in our embassies around the world, this idea of encouraging women in STEM does play a very important role in our public diplomacy, in our people-to-people exchanges. And as you may be aware, the US sponsors quite a range of exchanges, academic exchanges, professional exchanges, and I actually think we have quite a few alumni of these exchanges in the room, and I was really pleased to say hello to some of you when I entered earlier today. I love this picture. So I'm going to start with just giving you a sense of the menu of programs. The first one is on the next slide. How many people have heard of the Big Dream movement? Okay, so Big Dream is a movie, it's a documentary movie by an American film director named Kelly Cox, who was actually just here in Algeria. And in this movie, she depicts 7 girls from the MENA region, Latin America, from Africa, and from the United States, who are pursuing their STEM dreams. And it's more than just a film. Working in partnership with the private sector and with the United Nations, they've actually created this website called Big Dream Movement that has a wealth of just information for people who are interested in everything from internships, academic opportunities. But Kelly is actually going around the world, and she was with us here in Algeria through the American Film Showcase, and she was in Algiers, in Constantine, and in Sétif, showing the film and having some great conversations on the women and the girls depicted in the film as they pursue their STEM dreams. So I would encourage you to check out this website if you haven't already, and get a sense of the Big Dream movement. Next slide, please. Hour of Code. How many people have heard of Hour of Code? Good, I see more hands, that's great. So the Hour of Code is a global movement that has reached students in over 180 countries, and anyone can organize it. You don't have to have previous coding experience. There's 1 hour tutorials that are available online. And actually, if you can go to the next slide, we're happy to say that there are Access English Language program. You might be aware that the embassy sponsors, working in partnership with private schools across Algeria, a micro scholarship program for students to study English at the high school level. Berlitz actually did, for the first time in Algeria, an hour of code with its students. And this was during Global Computer Science Education Week. So this is something Berlitz did here in Algiers, but it's obviously something that can be done in classrooms or with youth groups anywhere at any time. The next program I want to talk about is actually a scholarship opportunity, and it's called Tech Girls. Oh, here it is, great. And Tech Girls offers secondary school girls from the Middle East and North Africa the opportunity to go to the States for a month and have an intensive exchange program focused on sort of a intensive level of study of technology. And then the girls are to come back to their home country and engage in some sort of tech-related project that they're passionate about. It's open to students from 15 to 17, so if you know anyone who would be a great fit for this program, please encourage them to apply. And my colleague Hamdi Salami is here from the embassy. He actually runs the program, and we'll be happy to answer your questions or pass a business card if you'd like to follow up and explore more. But this is one of our favorite programs here at the embassy. It really gives the opportunity to talented young women to travel to the States and explore their passion for science and technology. Next slide. The next program I want to talk about is the Tech Women program, and we actually have at least one alum from the Tech Women program here. The mission of Tech Women is to empower, connect, and support the next generation of women leaders in STEM. And so the idea is that these women are already role models in tech in their communities, and they come back after having had this experience, hopefully having gained information, networks, contacts, context that will help empower them as they come back to continue their work in their field. To be eligible, you must be a woman at minimum with 2 years full-time professional experience in the STEM field and have a bachelor's degree or a 4-year university degree or equivalent, and be proficient in written and spoken English. And again, if this is something that interests you, next slide, on how to apply, well, the first step is to come to our embassy website, which is on the next slide. Great. So everything you need to know in terms of deadlines, background contact information if you have questions is here on the website. And also now that you have us here, would encourage you to come and speak to us, especially Hamdi, about the details of the program. So I know I only had 10 minutes to speak, so I wanted to make it quick, but I'm happy to answer any questions. Are there any questions from the audience? I've left you speechless. Okay, great. I really hope you enjoy your conference. I if I leave you with any message, it's that the questions that you're looking at in terms of women in science, computing, and technology are really questions that everyone is grappling with in terms of how to encourage greater participation and to support the women who are already leaders in this field. I want to congratulate the chapter Women in Computing here. Mabruk alaikum for this. I think this is wonderful. It's a wonderful event, and I hope this is the start of continuing this leadership role in the field here in Algeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna, for your remarks. Just to see if you guys are following her now, how many of you are interested in any of the programs she's just discussed? You can ask questions. Feel free to reach out to the first table in front of us right here. They're here with us this morning, so take advantage of the fact that they're here with us. Now we're going to move to Sana. I'd like to invite Sana to the stage, but I don't see her. Where's she?
She's there.
Here we go. All right. So once again, Sana is the mastermind behind Arab Women in Computing Conference, the original orchestrator of the whole idea. She is the founder of and the chair of the organization. And once again, she's a supporter of women taking initiative and trying to grow in the field of computer science. Without further ado, I'm going to let her talk more about her experience and her background. So welcome her to the stage.
صباح الخير، أهلا وسهلا فيكم هون في مؤتمر الجزائر للمرأة العربية. Thank you so much for hosting us here today and welcoming us from all over the world to Algeria today. I'm really honored to be part of you. I'm actually Palestinian, so I grew up with hearing about Algerian support to Palestinians. So I feel like I am home, actually. So I am Sana Odeh. I'm a professor of computer science at New York University. And 6 years ago, we opened the university in Abu Dhabi, New York University of Abu Dhabi. And I was fortunate to be the person to start the computer science department in Abu Dhabi. So I moved there, and I wanted us to be an American university that has ties to the region and collaborations with the Arab region, but also international collaborations to the world, basically. And I started two important projects. So I needed to set up the department, start the curriculum, hire people, but I really wanted to make sure that I connect with the vital people that I was seeing around everywhere I went through the Arab world, the youth, the men and women of this region, very talented, very inspiring, and I was really moved and by the energy and the dedication of the young people. It was really inspiring. So I started the International Hackathon for Social Good in the Arab world, and I know some of you here today that participated in the hackathon. Can you stand up, please? Can you stand up? Thank you so much. It's so great to see you here. And so we bring people from all over the world to this hackathon. And then I started the Arab Women Computing group because it was very evident that when I came from the States in our department, in our classes at NYU and in other departments also, we had a really minimal enrollment rate of women in computing in the US, which is about nearing 20%, which is unfortunate because the field in the beginning was started by women. Grace Hopper was the first woman to invent the compiler. We have also people that the first programmer was a woman. The programmers that were from IBM that really invented the field were women as well. So in '84 in the US, the enrollment was nearing 40%, and then it started to go down, and it's been really hard to pick it up again. So when I went to the Arab world, everywhere I went, we were seeing that the enrollment in many universities were actually women. So, and I started the conference, and then it was really, when we were talking about and presenting, it was very evident. And then that's why we really wanted to do the organization and connect the organization to the international community. And that's why we have today, we're very honored to have today Rosario from the US, from Anita Borg, where they organized the largest women in computing conference, where 12,000 women were there last year, and this year it's going to be 15,000 women, which is a very important conference. And we're hoping that our organization, that we are connected to them as well, is an international organization that supports women in the Arab world, since we are, in many places, women are a majority in enrollment in this field. And that's why I'm really honored to be here today. And I want to thank Meriem and the Algeria chapter for really honoring all of us and bringing us from all over the world to be here and to be part in your beautiful country and to support Arab women computing. And so for all the women computing in Algeria, and especially for Meriem, thank you so much for inviting us here. And also for the guests, thank you so much for coming on a rainy day. We hear that in Algeria, usually you don't have this kind of weather this time of the year. So thank you so much for coming. So next slide. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Arab women computing. Like I said, it started in 2012 at NYU Abu Dhabi with, can we go to the next slide? And we had the first conference there, and we had about 100 women that came from all over the world, and we decided to start basically the organization now grown to 17 countries. And we have, this is my co-chair, Kauthar, she's amazing. She's now also the co-chair of the Grace Hopper Conference, the International Conference for Women Computing in the US. She's a senior scientist at IBM. She's a very powerful woman. She's a happy woman with 3 children, so she has a very balanced life with, for those of us who think that, and a lot of people grew up to think that there is no life balance in computer science, she is the example that can be very attainable and you can be successful, you can be also doing a lot of other work, but you can have a family, a very happy family. So I'm very proud of Kauthar. She couldn't be here with us today, but she's always present. Next. This is a picture from, one of the pictures from the Arab Women Computing Conference. We had 3 already at NYU Abu Dhabi. And you can see from the picture, actually, people came from all over the world. So we have a VC from New York. We have Rosario also was there, Anita Borg. We have a lot of people from about 17 Arab countries presented in the conference. So we're very happy with that as well. And the conferences were a big success. Next. So we are also supported with all the main computer science organization, technology organization. We talked about Anita Borg. We talked about also ACMW. We're also affiliated with them. The QCRI in Qatar is a big supporter. They actually pay for 7 scholarships to attend the Grace Hopper Conference. And there are few people from Algeria that received that award as well. So we're really happy with all of our sponsors. Next. Again, I talked about the NYU Abu Dhabi conferences, which we did 3, and they were supported by basically my research from NYU Abu Dhabi. So we really always very thankful for our sponsors, because we always feel that society think that women should be the main supporter of women, but we really think that it's the entire society's duty to actually support women, because you want to have half of your population to be active and engaged, and we want all the institutions to help us make sure that everybody is equal in society. The more diverse partners that you have, the more successful your company will be. Research is pointing to how important it is to be inclusive and to have the happier, the more productive, the more successful society is when everybody is included and everybody is treated equally. So that's why we feel that we're very thankful to the Ministry of Algeria here, to the US Embassy, to all the partners, the Hilton, and all the partners that supported our event, because it is the entire society's job to make sure that our sons and daughters are treated the same and treated equally. So it is a partnership, and it is the duty of everyone to make sure that women are included, because technology is the future. And millions of the jobs that will be created in the future will have to do with technology. And we know in the Arab world, our research is pointing out that women in the Arab world are the majority of the field. But unfortunately, when they leave that field, they are not hired for the jobs. So we need to make sure that our society take note of this. And we need to make sure that we employ women, that we train women, that we support women, and that excellent people should get the job regardless of their gender. So this is one of our agenda, is to really provide services for women and support society, everybody in the society in general, in order to fill the jobs, the innovative jobs, and to make decisions that will innovate, to be able to meet all our priorities and needs for the future, because all the innovation jobs will have to do with technology. I mean, technology is what allows doctors to cure diseases. Technology is revolutionized the entertainment industry, revolutionized, I mean, think about animation, what you see between motion graphic, animation, all of the, all the successful companies are basically, and the companies that are leading innovation are all technical companies. So we need women to be part of the future. Technology is the future. And if we're not part of that future, that means that once again, we lose out. We are not presenting solutions based on our priorities. We are not solving problems based on how we see problems should be solved. So we should be basically at the forefront of these fields, especially that women are in this field in large numbers. So we should continue to be playing a major role. Next, please. So again, this is also more pictures from the conferences. Next. And then we have, for ArabWIC Computing, our agenda is really to support women in computing and to partner with all institutions, from government to industry, to entrepreneurs, to VCs, to support women. So we've been doing a lot of technical webinars for training. We've been doing also coming up with, even though we're young, we're still struggling and we need more support and more fun, but I think we really have a good start. We're developing a mentoring system to support women. We're also having hackathons. Can we roll on? We had a hackathon in Lebanon, which we're very proud of, at American University of Beirut, where we brought about 100 women from all over Lebanon to train them on mobile application. And we brought all the ecosystem from ArabNet to the women business leaders in Lebanon organization, to it, and many other organizations to support the hackathon. And it was a beautiful, beautiful event. And what was really great about that event, it was a partner between all members of the society. Men and women were there, companies, industry, entrepreneurs, to support the women. It was a great, basically, achievement. We've also been hosting a lot of code hours event, like in Qatar, International Women's Day. For the first time, they went to a middle school and they taught them how to code. They partner with the QCRI and other organizations. So partnership has been really great. So we had more events in more countries. We had, this is a picture of the Lebanon Hackathon, and it's been really great. Again, it's a successful event because of all the partnership. Next, please. And then we had also, again, this is more of the pictures from Lebanon. Next. This is in Tunisia. We also had another hackathon partner with many organizations, and it was a big success as well. Next. And this is in Qatar. They also did a training event for women, and it was very well covered all over the media as well. Next. This is also more pictures from Qatar and on TV. And this is, which really impressed me the most, is Sudan. They actually, the women of Sudan heard about us and reached out, and they said, we actually have a lot of women computing as well, and we would like to start a chapter. And they started a chapter, and I did an event all over the country, which was really also successful without much of our help. And it impressed me so much to see that how much there is need out there for women to network and to support each other. And they have so much energy and innovation that it really inspires me every day to keep going, even though we don't even have one full-time person to work for us or that much funding, but we're spreading everywhere. Next. This is also in Tunisia. They had actually 4 events, and this is one of the event networking and mentoring event as well. Next. And this is one more panel in Tunisia about women computing. Next. And this is actually in Oman, and Oman is, the numbers also are really high, and the government is doing a lot of initiatives to support women. So we have a great chapter, and we have a great also young women, very similar to Meriem and the women from here, that are very active and really inspiring, and they were all over the media as well. They were trending that day they did their inauguration in Oman as well. Next. And this is the inaugural event at AUB, also for Lebanon. So they had 2 events, and today they actually, the women in Lebanon, Arab Women Computing, the Lebanese Business Association, along with ArabNet, along with WIT, along with the entire Lebanon ecosystem from banks to industry, they are bringing 500 women today, as we speak, from all over Lebanon, 9th and 10th grade, to train them on engineering and computer science, from robotics workshops to coding. So let's give them a round of applause, because they're doing an amazing job as well. And let's also give ourselves here a round of applause for putting this event together as well. So finally, I just want to thank you all for coming. Thank the organization so much, and the wonderful women behind this event. This is a testimony of what we can do. I mean, with the minimum energy that we have, the minimum support that we have, that we can put events like this, that we can basically do webinars and do hackathons, that do collaborations, that bringing the entire ecosystem together. We bring in also the international community together. I mean, I lived in the States, and as an Arab woman, the stereotype is always, oh, Arab women cannot drive, they are the victims, we need to save them. But these are all indications that we actually don't need to be saved. We can take care of ourselves, we can empower ourselves, and not only that, we can contribute to the international debate about women computing, because we are enrolled in big numbers in science and computer science. So this will contribute to the international debate. We have something to offer. We are also as a collective, and when we connect to the international community, we will become more visible. We can get more jobs. We'll help train more people. We become more supportive of each other. We'll hopefully get the jobs. We'll become more, support more entrepreneurs, and we'll become more visible and more active. So thank you so much, and I'm very inspired by all of you, and thank you so much for hosting us in your beautiful country. Thank you.
Thank you, Sana. You can sit there. You're going to be the first panel. It's going to happen in about 5 minutes.